Hi, everyone. This is day, is it 1000? Let me check. Let me get in there. I have been reviewing so much all day. Yeah, I just put that up there. Yeah, 1,832. I got it right. So, and I'm on live. Great. I can see everybody. Everyone can hear. Thank you so much. So, we are going gangbusters. It is absolutely unbelievable what we have accomplished uh, with all of your help. With all of your help, of course, we were told by the CID, by the command, that we had to do the investigation on our son by ourselves, and bring them leads. Otherwise, they could not do anything. And we have, in 5 years, been investigating our son. Our son is the Fort Bliss whistleblower soldier, Richard Halliday, who was aspiring to be CID. And he went to Fort Bliss. He told us how bad it was. It was very, very bad. And he reported on the criminal trafficking that was going on there that is absolutely cartel tied to even FTOs now. FTOs, look that up. Sinaloa Cartel, FTO. Um, and and of course, retaliation began against him quickly because this was part of the military there, the leadership on Fort Bliss. And that's absolutely confirmed. Okay. That is not like, oh, we're just guessing. We're just guessing. No, this is confirmed. And they, including I can name names, Major General Clem Coward, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Roddick, um, which has pretty disgusting ties. I can tell you that right now. And they, with others, with Dallas Hart, with others, Jonathan Ambrose, um, they absolutely retaliated against Richard with the help of El Paso Matters Bob Moore and Manny Chavira and A&R Chavira Auto Group, and many, many more. Um, because the criminal trafficking is worth billions of dollars. So it's not hard to grasp once you understand the money involved. And it also goes up the chain. It went up the chain. And when he reported, he got the ear of the Trump administration because, of course, the Trump administration was trying to secure the border at that time. This is in 2019, and going into 2020. Um, he escalated the investigations and the audits. Fort Bliss was being audited. That's not my, uh, oh, I guess it was. No, we were told that by Brigadier General um, Stewart. He absolutely confirmed that there were audits going on. And of course, um, it's been confirmed to us that the IG were all over the barracks because of Halliday. We also know that Richard called Child Protective Services multiple times, that he called 911 multiple times, that he was in communication with Washington, D.C., that he was in communication with FBI Houston, and he was being retaliated for being a whistleblower by his own chain of command. They were abusing their power. They were abusing their power as the chain of command for Richard. And we know that Lieutenant Colonel Bradford Bugado, G3, 32nd ADCOM, had conflicts of interest that would just blow you away. blow you away. So this was a very orchestrated hit on Richard that included the ties to the cartel, that included the cartel, okay, that included the Mexican cartel that had infiltrated itself into our military, and they were criminal trafficking. So, Richard, 1,832 days ago, about that time, about that time, um, was forcibly removed from the barracks when Richard could not be compromised at all, because part of the retaliation was to try to compromise him, try to get him in a situation where they could blackmail him, and it didn't work. It didn't work. He could not be compromised. He's sparkling clean, squeaky clean. They didn't know what to do with this beautiful young man. Absolutely beautiful young man, that even on camera, at 1 o'clock in the morning, he was, uh, at attention, at attention. They couldn't, even after everything they did to him, he would stand at attention and say, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." Um, so that he just would not, because, they were bringing in the girls, compromising our soldiers with young girls, underage girls, and they would film it. They would film it, and then keep it in their pocket until maybe one of the soldiers grew a conscience and wanted to become a whistleblower, and then they would pull it out of their pocket and say, "Hey, hey, hey, you say anything, and we're going to release this, and you'll be in jail. You'll be in jail." So this is how they blackmailed. This is how they ran their protection of their criminal trafficking. And with Richard, they just couldn't compromise him. They had nothing on him, and he became President Trump's whistleblower. Absolutely, corroborating the need for border security and border vetting, and even security of Fort Bliss. With the cartel infiltrating, it meant that Fort Bliss was not secured, right? It was not secured. It had been breached. And we know that the security was breached because we were told so. Um, and we have evidence of it. We have evidence even from the director of emergency services, Thomas Kane, who was overseeing the security of Fort Bliss, and it was breached. And we know that the arms room um, it was the crime scene, because for it didn't matter what cost it was, they were going to renovate. Okay, and we have that. Also, the renovation of the arms room at any cost, and under the shadows. And of course, we have the seal that was on the door. And so, this is everything we say is from evidence, hard evidence. Um, and, we can back it up. We can back it up. And that's why um, the military under Biden's administration, even the Board of Inquiry, had to designate Richard deceased in April 24th, 2024. And then with the continued filings of all the evidence that we had, and of course with his knowledge, because he was there, President Trump, who was really the main target of this, um, I want to call it an insurrection, but it really is a mutiny because it's in the military, right? This mutiny that happened against President Trump in 2019 and 2020 in the military. And we know that with General Milley was caught. We know that it is part of the whole Obama um, scandal, the whole uh, really the treason, right, to get Trump at any cost, using the intelligence community, and even using, if you're using the intelligence community, you definitely have people in the military. And in this case, it was General Mealy, it was General McConville, it was Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe, who's still active duty in the military. And he is absolutely guilty of treason. Okay. And you have General Kelly, John Kelly, you have um, Major General Clem Coward. You list them. David Stewart. Now we have Major General Taylor. He is absolutely guilty of the worst type of crimes because he's letting it just perpetuate. And there's so much more to it with all the other whistleblowers, right? With the whistleblowers that are still um, being retaliated against uh, for being right, for being right, for protecting our country, for protecting our military. And that is still going on. And so that means that there is still bad leadership in the military. And we know now, because of the soldier that just was arrested, caught in an FBI sting, not a CID sting. CID was not involved, but FBI was involved, and they put a sting out for this spy that would sell our big tank secrets to Russia. And and now that's alleged, and it has to go, innocent until proven guilty. But this is what has come out. But the important thing about this, it's not the leadership on Fort Bliss and the CID that caught this alleged spy. No, it was an FBI sting from Washington, D.C. So that tells you that um, things are going on behind the scenes, that Washington, D.C., the Trump administration absolutely understands that we have some very bad leadership in the military. And, they can't say it outright because it's a national security issue, right? It's a national security issue. We don't want to tell the world that we have problems um, in our military at this kind of level from the White House press. But I can say, because I'm a Gold Star mother, and this is very personal to our family because it involves our son, what they did to our son, the taking of the life of our son, and also the covering up of what they did, and um, keeping his remains from us, keeping his remains from us, and not getting accountability. So I can say it absolutely that Major General Taylor, he needs to be stripped from his uniform, along with Sean Bernabe. They need to be stripped from their stars, stripped from any benefit, right? Any benefit, and and they need to be held accountable for what they've done. And Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe, it's very personal to us because he lied to our faces. He lied the biggest, most vulgar, worse lies than Ernest Christopher Grant. And you can't really get worse than Ernest Christopher Grant. You really can't. But Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe did. Um, uh, Worse lies right to our face that um, absolutely put our nation at risk, the security of our nation at risk, and showed that he was serving foreign and domestic enemies, including the Sinaloa cartel, FTOs. He's absolutely with Obama doing the same, okay? Because Obama absolutely had a hand in what was going on in El Paso on Fort Bliss. I can tell you that right now. Absolutely. It's the front door of the United States. Of course, it seems so far away from Washington, D.C., but it's not. And they play very, very dirty. And during, those years of Obama, where so many people were hopeful that that would bring a level, uh, a message to the whole world about the United States, right? Having Obama as president, that it would give a message to the whole world. But he was a great disappointment, wasn't he? Because he's a treasonous, evil person, a really evil person. And so it tells you who put him there, right? Because um, those that put him there absolutely knew his background and what his motives would be and what his goals would be. And part of that was the green flag to the Democrats to gerrymander the hell out of Democrat ran states. And they did it. Do you know New Mexico, even though they have 40% or more of Republicans, they have not one Republican congressional representative, right? Because they just uh, gerrymandered the hell out of that state. And the same thing with Illinois. I think they have 17 congressional representatives, but only one. Or no, I think it's really a small amount. Even though they have a bigger percentage of Republicans, but they only have, they've just gerrymandered it to give Democrats full control. And the same thing with New England, right? With Massachusetts coming out saying, well, we're going to do this too. We're going to gerrymander. You've already done it. You don't even know what you've done because Massachusetts doesn't even have one Republican congressional representative. Okay. So, you know, uh, they don't even know what's going on. They're just so used to lying and making up lies that they don't even go look at the facts. They don't go look at the facts. And so, what am I getting at here? Well, the latest news that's been going on this week about Texas. The Democrats are complaining about gerrymandering in Texas. It is just hilarious how hypocritical they are. Absolutely hypocritical because they are gerrymandering everywhere, right? To give Democrats an edge, to give them more of an edge, to give them a total lead. So now Texas has control. The Republicans have control of Texas. And so they are wanting to redistrict. And they need to redistrict because so many illegals came through. And uh, and so they need to with all of the deportations going on, the self deportations, so many self deportations right now, y'all. So many. And then, of course, the other deportations of all the criminal, illegal, I mean, they're all criminal, but the serious record holding criminals, they are being first targeted to be taken out of society to save people, right? To save people. So this whole gerrymandering thing has, they meant it for evil, or they meant it to sabotage the quorum so that the Republicans cannot vote on the redistricting, that they cannot, because some of these Democrats will lose their seats. They will absolutely, especially around Houston, and I believe that Fort Bliss will be taken away from Veronica Escobar. So absolutely, they're doing this to hold on to their own power. They're not thinking about the people of the state and how they voted and who needs to represent them. That's not what they're thinking of at all. They are absolutely just thinking about their own motives, their own power and their own goals that they have. And, so they decided, and the one thing that Democrats always, you can always count on that they're going to do, is that they do it in packs, right? They do it in packs. So they all did it together, and they were allegedly funded by Beto O'Rourke. He still has a pack, right? He still has a pack. I don't know why he has so much. Well, I do know why he has so much money. His next door neighbor is the FTO corpse stacker, right? Raphael Quran. Yeah, the owner of Plenitude Crematorium, the rotting body, um, cartel narco body dumping ground that is unlicensed, unregistered. That means if he's unlicensed, unregistered, most likely he's not paying taxes. Okay, he's not paying taxes, so he's taking the pay, and he's not reporting it. If he's not registered, if he's not licensed, how can he report it, right? How can he report his income and pay the taxes? Just asking, just asking. And he's living in Sausun Paus, as my grandmother would say, my Oma would say, which means high on the hog. He's living high on the hog. Lots of property, lots of businesses, even restaurants, nightclubs, oil and gas company. Media. He's living high on the hog and right next to Beto O'Rourke, right? The funder of uh, these Democrats that needed, couldn't take a regular plane, needed to go as a pack on a private jet plane, right? And some nice, fancy hotels, and let's go to the gerrymandering states, right? The most gerrymandered states like Illinois, like Massachusetts, like, you know, and it really is so hypocritical, but there's a problem because once you get on that plane, once you take Beto O'Rourke's, uh, you know, a gift, um, to hightail it out of Texas to sabotage a quorum, to sabotage a redistricting, that would absolutely hurt him because he's in big trouble, y'all. He lives right next to the FTO cartel uh, corpse stacker, right? That is connected to purchase funeral homes. That's connected to former usurper Bill Hicks, the rogue prosecutor. That's connected to the unauthorized rogue medical examiner, chief medical examiner. That is also illegal and unauthorized, and um, just so they're all connected because it all is part of this criminal trafficking, especially with humans, and if there's deaths, you have to have this big cover up for the deaths. Um, the funeral home, and I'm sorry that I sound so unemotional about the whole thing. Um, it has been really the last week to try to control the psychological roller coaster ride. It is so difficult, because our son's remains, um, every day it looks more and more likely that his remains were at this body dumping ground. Okay. So to go through the pictures, to go through all the information we're getting, to talk to the people that we're talking to. This has been to identify the crimes and document the crimes, and create the filings and file the letters, knowing, finding out who to go to and everything. Um, it is a real psychological challenge, and so I'm just saying, Satan, get behind me, and moving forward with the least amount of emotion I can so that we can get accountability at the end of the day. So, it's kind of like a long time ago, and she's still alive. Carol, you know who you are. We went to go see A Star is Born. I was just a young preteen. I think I was a preteen. Um, and we went to go see this movie, A Star is Born. And I cried through the whole thing, right? I just cried. It was so sad, or emotional. And Carol sat beside me. She didn't cry at all. She didn't cry one bit, and she just watched the movie. And we got out to the car. She was driving. We got out to the car. She went to her purse. She got her tissue out, and she just started bawling. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, why are you crying? She goes, I didn't want to miss any of the movie, but I just have to cry now. And I guess that's the lesson that I have to take, is that I can't, even though I've been crying so much for these 5 years, but, just to not be emotional, to get through this when I'm talking about this piling up of cadavers, piling, and they're rotting, y'all, and it's an awful thing. And they still have evidence of the trauma that they suffered. And it is really a gruesome situation that we're in this investigation right now. And so at the end of the day, when we get accountability, when all of this really, when people start getting what do people call it, purple walked, arrested, right, arrested, um I guess that's when I'll grab my tissue, right? I'll grab my tissue and start crying for all of this. I don't know if I can do it. I'm gonna, but it's necessary. It's necessary to. Um, when I said I don't know if I can do it, I don't know if I can not cry, right, for that long, or until then. But it's happening. It's happening. So I'm going to do my best to stay focused. And this is when you have uh, the Sinaloa cartel that's connected to the politicians, the narco politicians, that you have the Sinaloa cartel riding the signs, one faction of them whistleblowing on another faction of them. When you have that going on, you know that we have absolutely moved forward in all of this, right? Move forward in getting accountability. When you know that we have the information that where these bodies wounded up, and just so much fraud there, so many victims, okay, and the families are just totally victims. You're having over 400 bodies just in this little short time. And he's been doing this for a long time, decade, probably way more than a decade. He's been doing this. And so the fraud there is just incredible. And this is hundreds and hundreds of bodies, um, corpses that he has stacked up and let rot while collecting on his fraudulent claims. Um, and yes, there is evidence that points to that our son, at least partial remains, ended up there. And so this is why this is so important. And the owner of that place is the next door neighbor of Beto O'Rourke. The owner? Are you kidding me? That's not coincidence, y'all. That's not coincidence, because, they absolutely, there's not too many people in El Paso that have that kind of wealth that these two men have, okay? That these two men have. They have uh, enormous wealth for El Paso. And of course, they know each other. Of course, these billionaires and millionaires know each other. in El Paso and in their neighborhood. I mean, their HMO, because, they live right there, right, like in their backyard is the tennis courts and the pool and all of that. Of course, they know each other. That's their business. And, and it connects everything together. And for Betor work to show his weaknesses like he just did by funding the travel with his pack, right? With his pack, the travel of this attack dog pack, the Democrats, really, the way they talk, they're just attack dogs, right? Um, uh, to put them on this plane and send them to another state. Now, once they did that, the jurisdiction goes into the area for the FBI. The FBI jurisdiction kicks in. And that's why Kash Patel is saying he's getting involved in this. So Kash Patel is getting involved in this whole thing. Um, and of course, AG Paxton is getting involved in investigating Beto O'Rourke. And so this is very important for our case because it's showing, number one, the whole term of gerrymandering, the um, the control uh, grid for the Democrats is just crumbling. It's just crumbling. And they were the party that was, and I'm not saying totally, but they were the party for the most part um, that could have done something, definitely in power with Biden, with all the evidence that we were submitting for years, that could have done something that chose to cover up. The Republicans as well. I'm not going to. Um, you have to know that. You have to know that there are. Uh, this is a real problem, eh, because the how can we make it that our representatives really do serve us? Okay, because they don't. They don't. William Timmons, our local representative, he's so bad, y'all. He's so bad. He's so worried about other women, other wives, other men's wives. That's what he's worried about. I mean, he's so bad at that that one of the husbands here in Greenville bought an old house, an old church, and painted it bright pink to get the message out how bad William Timmons is, right? How bad William Timmons is. You can look that up. It's shocking, right? But that's how bad he is. And of course, our Senator uh, Graham, he is more concerned with war, right? With sending our volunteer sons and daughters to war for, because war makes a lot of money. And he doesn't have any children. He doesn't have the age now to go to war, so he doesn't have to worry about paying the ultimate price. He just wants other families to have their children and their family members to pay the ultimate price by sending them to war and risking their lives. So he can make money off of it. I mean, he's all about war. That's all he talks about. And but when it comes to a hero like Richard, a whistleblower like Richard, that is reporting the criminal trafficking that involves the cartel on Fort Bliss and in El Paso, the front door to the United States, which is a real risk to national security that requires real uh, addressing it, even maybe militarily, right, to protect the Constitution. He shirks his duty. he shirks his duty. So that tells you that they serve foreign and domestic enemies of our country. And so Beto O'Rourke, with the Walmart mass shooting, very clearly showed his true colors in this financing of the Democrats now to sabotage the Texas House. That also shows his true colors. And he is getting lambasted on online for his past too, because he has a really not too great of a past, right? He doesn't have too great of a past, but he called Ernest Christopher Grant a hero. How can you call someone like that vile and vulgar and a criminal, a total criminal, multiple arrests, right? How can you call him a hero? No, he's no hero. And of course, El Paso Police Department made it very clear that Ernest Christopher Grant, um, is no hero. But Richard is. Richard is. And where was Beto O'Rourke? No, he was playing Patsy Fingers with Danae Katzen, Jonathan Ambrose, Texas Heart, right? Texas Heart with Black Lives Matter. Um, you know, let's cause some trouble there together. Is that what Beto O'Rourke was doing? Because, calling Ernest Christopher Grant a hero and putting a false narrative out there to do some foolery against his own community. His own community. He's really a traitor. He's a total traitor, and he's getting called out for that. So this is really what the AG is doing, what the FBI is doing. That is in direct response to all of our claims, all of our reports, all of absolutely okay. So that should make everyone look at things a little different. We are absolutely getting responses, actionable responses back from our many letters and notices and criminal complaints and whatnot. I mean, amicuses. I'm getting to be a paralegal, right? I'm getting to be a paralegal in all of this. Um, so yes, we're getting really. It's we have a real chance. We have a real chance. We got the um, in the line of duty declaration, and now you see um, that there's real actionable uh, moves to get Richard's remains. And if there are FBI stings on Fort Bliss that catches soldiers wanting to sell secrets to Russia, that tells you that there's probably more FBI's undercover on Fort Bliss. Okay? That and getting a lot of information there. Because Richard's unit has always known. And so they're getting more information. Absolutely. And that tells you that there there may just be other FBI undercover in other agencies, right? In other agencies, because you don't get one faction of a Sinaloa cartel whistleblowing against their other their other faction of the Sinaloa cartel without actionable uh, responses being made and pressure behind the scenes being created. Uh, and I think it's the tariffs. Who knows? Who knows what the Trump administration is doing to get these results? But we're getting results, and we're just trying to be as patient as we can, trying to be as patient as we can, um, and keep it together, right? Keep it together mentally and continue until it all happens. And I think that this other little video that I put up, if I change topics a little bit, it's never really a total change because it's all interwoven, right? The Walmart mass shooting and Patrick Crusius. And one of the things that really got me is that Patrick Crusius, without his glasses, he's really blind, y'all. He is really blind. I thought without my glasses I was bad, but oh no, it's he is really bad. And even in the paperwork, he has eyesight problems. But you know what? He has ear problems. He has sensory problems. And I think that video that I just put out of Patrick Crusius holding the paper up, like holding the paper right up to his face, shows that he has a lot of sensory problems. And with that, he could not, um, absolutely could not pull this off by himself at all, the Walmart mass shooting. And that it's becoming clearer and clearer. And we're adding all of the songs and the videos and all the evidence that we're turning in. We're just the whole Mayella thing, the everything, everything that we can find, the ammunition, the weapons, the proofs that Fort Bliss was missing weapons, was missing ammunition, that they were um, under audit. They have a long history of the smuggling. They have a history of the trafficking. And they trafficked right in front of our eyes using our own taxpayer money, hundreds of thousands of children, uh, hundreds of thousands of them that are now mostly not alive anymore. And so the naysayers out there that must be from Fort Bliss or whatever, maybe PAO Ali Payne sent them or something, are just they're doing damage control. They're doing damage control because there is a real chance, especially if it's with this brown tip bullet tip that we got. That brown tip bullets were found at the scene. Those are special forces. You can't buy them in a store. And then this whole story that he bought from, uh, a foreign country like this that sells this Russian weapon. When he has mental health, severe mental health records going way back continuously, um, yeah, it's very stinky. It doesn't hold up, and it's not going to hold up in a court of law. So this is why this blind video, the video of Patrick Crusius showing how blind he is very, very important because it shows you his sensory problems. We know he had to wear the tactical earmuffs that might have had comms in it, okay? Because those tactical earmuffs, where are they, right? And the federal government has never, ever said that the weapons that Patrick Crusius and the ammunition and the magazine were not sourced from Fort Bliss. And when we know that his whole family is in El Paso with those positions and connected to the cartel, yeah, there, um, I think that a lot of questions still need to be officially answered. And the Walmart mass shooting case, is absolutely not finished. It is not finished. And um and because our son's case is not finished and they are totally intertwined. So when we are successful in getting Richard's remains and getting accountability, um, will absolutely have answers to what happened with the Walmart mass shooting. Uh, Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. So I think the feds being involved with the Democrats now, uh, can you imagine you're a representative, you're living high on the hog, you get all this good pay, you get all these perks, you get the insurance perks and everything, and then they have till tomorrow. They can lose it all. They can just lose it all, you know, vacate their seat. And now, uh, with Beto O'Rourke being investigated, these are very, very interesting times. The first time that we absolutely have accountability in our grasp, on so many levels. And just pray that we don't let the ball fall, that we carry through, because it really is for the health of our country, for the health of our military, absolutely for the health of El Paso. Um, yeah, but I think so many things have been exposed. There's no going back, is there? There's just no going back. So thank you so much, everybody. God bless you. And I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. And thank you, Anicia, for coming on with your prayers and your love. We love you. We appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. Bye bye.